Welcome back to the Multi-Orgasmic Millionaire podcast with Tilly Storm. That's me. I am your holistic, somatic sex and intimacy coach. And today I'm going to be talking about something that I find most women really struggle with, which is communicating about what they want and desire from their man in the bedroom. This episode title is appropriately going to be titled The Art of Feminine Communication for Getting What You Want in the Bedroom and Beyond, because what I'm going to tell you today is about how you can get more of what you want in the bedroom, because, we like to talk about sex here, but also these same techniques that I'm going to share with you today will also help you get more of what you want in your life in general, anytime you have any interaction with men, not just sexually, but in your workplace, with your clients, with your sons, any man in your life. So let's dive right in. For most of you, talking about sex probably looks something like this. Telling him that he needs to slow down, apply less pressure in the moment, only for him to do it one time, and then for him to go back to what he was doing before and it feel to you like he never listens to you because you've told him 500 times the exact same thing and he never does it unless you ask yet again, if at all. Sometimes he just doesn't even do it correctly. Okay. It also looks like him initiating sex and you sharing that you're either too tired, you're not in the mood, and you give him absolutely no assurance for a future connection, which really destabilizes a lot of men who are more of the sexual blueprint, because many men are. Of course, there's some women who are the sexual blueprint, like myself, but if you have a partner who is a sexual blueprint, erotically wired that way, then their need for assurance by you just telling them, oh, just not in the mood right now, not helping the situation at all. So your communication, your lack of communication is really putting a divide between you two during this instance. Another common way that couples talk about sex that's just talking about sex but it's not effective and you're not inspiring anything with him is when you're sharing something that you want to try, but you're only able to get there and muster up the courage after you've had a glass of wine or two, or you've had some sort of substance that gets you in more of that social vulnerability space. And then you can share about it. But maybe it's not exactly even authentic, or maybe it's not your truest desire, but you just came up with the courage to share it because you had some walls that were broken down by that substance. Another way that we tend to talk about sex that's not within the realm of feminine communication and conscious communication is only getting vulnerable and real when you have a structured container to make it feel safe, like in a tantra workshop or a couples therapy session, for example. So if you've been to marriage counseling, therapy, whatever, obviously you're talking, but there's like a container, there's like a third party who's like making it safe for both of you to talk, or even in a coaching session with me, with my couples, like that's part of what we do is I make it safe for the couples to share. And when I see that it's becoming not safe for them to share, I get to intervene. But this is something that you can't rely on all the live long day, because eventually you have to come up with a way to communicate with your partner without a third party to intervene and make it safe. You need to learn how to make it safe, both of you together, right? So today, that's why I'm going to share with you my feminine communication secrets for getting more of what you want in the bedroom and beyond. Let's dive in. The Multi-Orgasmic Millionaire with Tilly Storm is the only sex podcast for high-achieving leaders wanting to experience the best sex and the epic relationships of their lives without dragging their partner to therapy, blaming it on their hormones, or trying things in the bedroom that don't feel authentic. I'm your host today, Tilly Storm, top 20 sex coach in the world. I hope you enjoy the episode. Okay, so the first thing that I want to share is that you want to get to a point in your relationship where you can openly share about your sexual wants and desires throughout the day as if it's just another part of your normal conversation without the need for a third party or a safe container or having to go to the tantra retreat or whatever it is that breaks that barrier. For some people, it's vacations. When they go on vacation, they have great sex. That's my sensuals out there. So when you're in that environment where you're like, okay, I can drop my barriers. I can talk about this right now. And then that becomes the only time that you talk about it. How freaking weird is that? Oh my God, how weird is that? Okay. This is why people have a hard time talking to their children about sexuality and pleasure and all of these things, because they don't know how to incorporate these conversations into their daily life due to guilt, shame, and fear. That's it. That's all it is. It's just guilt, shame, and fear. So you've got to clear that guilt, shame, and fear. And for a lot of you who will only talk about sex when you have a third party involved at your marriage counselor's office or couples therapist, right? This is what I'm talking about. You've got that person to back you up or to show you how crazy he is. That's what you're looking for, but that's not what you're getting. And that's not open sharing. That's very much closed sharing. And it cuts off the flow of communication. And there's this fear that you have that keeps you from having open communication due to past experiences, because you're afraid of being rejected, or you're afraid he's going to think you're crazy, or he's going to think that you're too much, all of this stuff. We have so many emotional charges that keep us from having open, free-flowing communication. And until we can get to the point, until we can get the both of you to the point where you can clear these emotional charges and blocks and triggers, you're not going to be able to communicate in a fun or effective way with your partner about sex ever. Ever. I hate to tell you that, but until you can get to a point where you can openly communicate about these things without getting freaking triggered, you're not going to be able to talk about this in a fun and effective way. So the goal is to get you to a place where you can work with your own triggers, your own emotional charges, the shame, guilt, or fear, and you can understand this is a you problem that is presenting because of some past experience. And when we can move through those things within you, then the flow of communication opens up. So the feminine flows, my loves. It is not natural for you to block your communication around your sexual wants and desires or anything else. It is not natural to block off the flow of sharing those things, but you are doing it due to past experiences and a story you've adopted because of those past experiences. So the second thing that I want to share with you about the feminine art of communication, so you can get more of what you want in the bedroom, is being able to give feedback about whatever he is doing to you sexually in a way that does not emasculate him or make him feel like he's not doing it right. Now, for my guys out there who have an ego trip about this, that's a you problem. You need to get over that shit. But for women who are so sensitive, for my energetic blueprints, right? Like, y'all are so sensitive, you probably just don't share what you want, because you know that if you share what you think that if you do share what you want, it's going to bruise his ego. So you're not even going to go there. You're going to consider yourself someone whose needs and wants just aren't worthy of being known, because you don't want to have to deal with his reaction. Oh, I see this one all the time with my couples. And this is so detrimental to your own pleasure. This goes for my shapeshifters too. So my energetics and shapeshifters are the biggest people pleasers of all of the erotic languages. Okay. And because of that, you guys don't share because you are afraid of his reaction. You are blocking the flow of pleasure in your life by doing this, and you're never going to get what you want until you can effectively share 3 things about how he has sex with you, or how he touches you, or how he initiates with you. You have to learn to tell and share and give feedback on the type of touches he's given, the style of touch he is giving you. So that's 1, the style and type of touch. 2, the pressure of the touch. And 3, the speed of the touch. Most men have no idea There are some very, very skilled men who are very keen on touch. But for my sexuals, probably not so much. And my energetics, you're probably very keen on this. If you're a massage therapist, been in massage therapy school, you probably know a lot about touch and how the type, the pressure, and the speed of touch changes everything. As a woman, if you don't like the type of touch he is giving you and you're not sharing with him and giving him the feedback on how you want to be touched, you are never going to be satisfied in the bedroom. So you have to learn to communicate this without being a bitch, emasculating him, or making him sound like he just can't do anything right. But the truth is, this is how it's coming across most of the time because you had no good role models of how to inspire, how to use the sandwich technique of saying, oh, I love what you're doing here, but maybe we could try this instead so that we can experience this, right? So your feedback often comes off as very negative. You just don't ever do it right. Or, why can't you just touch me? Maybe you're thinking this in your head. Why can't he just touch me like that one guy did? His hands were like magic. He gave the Midas touch, right? Of course, you have that person in your mind, very likely, right? And when you're coming from that pining, that mean girl energy, it's not inspiring him, and it's not going to be the place where you inspire him to give you what you actually want, because it's from this really, really negative space that's very disrespectful. And it doesn't inspire him to want to give you anything because it's coming from such this blah, she's mad at me now I can't do anything right space. But this is what most women do. They nag and complain. What do you think men say about women all the time? They nag and freaking complain. This is why, because women don't know how to communicate in a way that inspires. So instead of doing that, here's what you can do instead. The key to feminine communication is my conscious languaging framework. It works so beautifully all of the time when you get the hang of it. It takes practice, though. It doesn't happen overnight, but I promise you, if you practice this, I teach all of my clients this. If you practice this with great integrity and consistency, it will change your relationship. Number one, share what you're feeling using I statements, never making it about him. I've shared this on this podcast so many times, so I'm not going to go into super big detail about it. The second part is share why you're feeling this way using I statements and based on your self-awareness. And then sharing what you'd like to experience instead using muse energy. Inspire him to want to give this to you, okay? Don't emasculate, don't disrespect, don't make him feel like he can never win with you, but that's what you do, all right? No attack energy here. That's not necessary. You're in a relationship, you're on the same team. So let's get on the same freaking team, okay? So you're gonna share what you're feeling. Honey, when I love having sex with you, I love our playtime together. And right now, what I'm noticing is that the pressure that you're applying is too hard for me. I'm wondering, can you apply less pressure, almost like you're barely touching me? And let's try that and see how that works, right? So you're sharing what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and what you want instead. What you're feeling, why you're feeling it, what you want instead. But you never make it about you're not doing this right. You are. No. It's I am feeling this way because I've found that I really like these sorts of touches. So I'm wondering if you could do this instead. Is this making sense? I hope this is making sense, okay? This is conscious communication. This is how we share what we want and need and like without emasculating, disrespecting, or making him feel like he can never win with us or do it right. And when we do this, it's very unlikely you're going to trigger his ego. Okay? Now, the next step of this, of getting more of what you want in the bedroom through feminine communication, is communicating When would be a good time for lovemaking instead of always being a no or not right now or I'm too tired or I'm not in the mood? Many men are sexual blueprints. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go download my 5 days to epic passion and pleasure training mini course at the link in the show notes. Go listen to the 4th training and you will learn all about this. But if your man is a sexual blueprint, it is so important that they have an assurance that they are going to get sex, that they're going to have a moment with you. And to leave them hanging feels like, and as a sexual blueprint myself, it feels like oxygen deprivation. It feels like you're going to suffocate. And this is why I have so much compassion for men and so much understanding for a lot of my sexual men, because I know what that's like as a sexual myself. So if you have a sexual blueprint man, not giving him assurance as to when or if sex is ever going to happen, it feels like you're dying inside, because to a sexual, sex is necessary. It is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs as an absolute base need, right up there with water, food, and air, and clothing, and shelter. And for sexuals, that is very much all in that same category. And when they're not assured that they're going to get sex, it definitely triggers them into, oh my God, is something wrong with me? Why doesn't she want me? Why doesn't he want me? Is something wrong with my sex? Am I just too sexual? And blah, 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 blah. It sends them into a spiral. So one thing with women who aren't sexuals, who are more on the sensual or energetic spectrum here, is that they don't experience sex in the same way. It's not an absolute must need for most of them. And because of that, they don't understand that this can send someone into like a spiral down. Okay. So communicating when would be a good time is so helpful in this sort of relationship dynamic. When you, as a woman or a sensual or energetic, or if you're the sensual energetic man, but your woman is a sexual, so important. And this was actually one of the keys to me really finding peace and really being able to work with my sensual male partner. Okay. So knowing that he could give me sex at a particular time, or him saying, maybe not right now, but how about early in the morning before we get our day started? That right there, as a sexual blueprint woman, just makes me chill the fuck out and relax. And I can breathe again. It's like, okay, I'm not starving for oxygen anymore. I know I'm going to get this at some point, right? And for my sexual blueprint men and my sensual or energetic women, this is so, so, so key. So don't leave him hanging if he's a sexual. It's really challenging, okay? And it does tend to send him into a trigger spiral. So if you notice your man shuts down or gets snippy with you every time you reject him, turn him down, this is probably why. So all it takes is to give him some assurance. Maybe on our date night Thursday, or let's try again at this point. That's it. That's really it. So there you go, my loves. Those are my biggest tips for feminine communication and really shifting how you can go from not getting what you want and desire in the bedroom to actually getting what you want. And it does take some work, I promise you. And this is what we do in the Epic Sex Blueprint training program for couples. So for just a couple more days, the program closes for enrollment on February 29th. That's this upcoming Thursday, February 29th, 2024. So I have 3 spots left. One couple has already signed up. If you are interested in improving your communication, increasing your emotional and spiritual connection sexually, and curing bedroom boredom forever, if you feel creatively blocked or like you don't know what else to try, this program is really, really good for couples who've been together between 10 and 30 years, because usually within that time frame, that's when things start to get really boring and stale, sometimes sooner, obviously, but I mean, really boring and stale. So if that's you and you're wanting to reignite the passion, reignite your desire, and learn and try new things sexually together in a way that does feel safe, so that eventually it just feels safe all the time, this is the program for you. So right now we're taking applications through Thursday, the 29th of February, 2024. You can apply at the link in the show notes. There's a whole webpage that will tell you about the details of the program, and you'll book a call with me. You and your partner have to be on the call together, and then you're going to answer just a couple of questions so I know a little bit more about you by the time we get on the call. So if that's something you're interested in doing and this is a priority in your life right now, it is the month of love. So let's celebrate and take action because I want to see more couples thrive. And last week you heard from Sherry and Carlos, who just completed this program last week. And I'm so proud of them. And they are such an amazing couple. And if you haven't listened to their interview, definitely go back to episode 287 and listen to the transformation that they experienced going through this program. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got something out of this. Please give me a rate or review on the podcast. And yeah, we'll see you next week. All right, bye.